Hey everybody, Ben here with a quick explainer of everything you need to know about the latest event in Ark Raiders called Flickering Flames. We're going to cover all of the details, all the rewards you get, how to finish the event, and the new project that goes with it quickly, what items you need to find, and where exactly you can find them all. Drop a like and a sub if you enjoy the video, and let's jump straight into it. So the Flickering Flames event is going to run up until January the 13th. That ties in with the Cold Snap map event that you're going to see in place. Cold Snap is this winter effect. You get these snowy effects on the different maps, and they go in a 2-hour rotation across Dam Battlegrounds, Bluegate, Spaceport, and Buried City. There's no one on Stellar, so it's just those other 4 maps. You can see here, it's currently on Dam, and that will rotate through the others. On these maps, you'll be able to harvest candleberries, you get increased loot value, and you'll also get hurt by the cold if you stay out in it for too long. You'll then have to go inside to warm up, and then you can go and move around the map again. You can also use Raider hatch keys on these map events, unlike Electromagnetic Storm or Night Raid, so do keep that in mind. In order to complete this event, if we go up to this event tab here, you can see if we go back to the beginning, you move through all of these tiers, and these are the rewards you gradually earn as you level up. You level up by collecting merits. You get 1 merit per 100 XP you earn. And in order to get to the end of this event, you need to get to 15,000 merits. You can see I'm on 12,739 here, so I'm nearly finished, but not quite. And in order to get 15,000 merits, you're going to have to earn 1.5 million XP in total in order to do that. However, you can speed this up massively by doing the accompanying project. If we tab over here, you can see there's a project, which I have now finished. And you can also access this by going to your Raider tab and then over to projects, and you're going to see the expedition and also the Flickering Flames project. In order to complete this project, there's 5 different tiers that you'll work through. You have to submit various items at those tiers, and as you do that, that's going to reward you with merits along the way. For completing the entire project, you'll be rewarded with 10,000 merits. That's 10,000 of the 15,000 required merits. So that means you only have to grind 5,000 merit points, which is 500,000 XP, in order to complete the event and the project and get it all done. The project is optional, like they both are really, but doing the project is going to make this much more achievable, and it's good fun, and you get good rewards from both. By completing the event, you can see that you're rewarded with this cosmetic skin, this new skin at the start here, the high-tech outfit, the high-tech hiker. And as you go through, you'll unlock various customization options and colors and stuff for that, along with an emote, and you'll also get 250 Raider tokens for completing the whole event. That's the paid currency you can use in the store in-game. If you complete the project as well, you'll get another 250 Raider tokens, so that's 500 Raider tokens in total for doing the event and project. And if you check your mailbox at the top of the page, you should actually find that you have a message from Embark, if you haven't read it already, giving you 1,000 coins just because it's Christmas. When you finish the event, you're going to get this new skin. You can now customize your melee weapon, so you'll get this hammer thing, the space wrench, as a new skin option if you complete the whole event. And you'll also get rewarded with these candleberries as you go along through the event, and we're going to use these for the project. Over on the project tab, as I mentioned, you're going to get rewarded with Raider currency, Raider coins that you can spend in the store, 250 of those. You get a few different items along the way, such as a snap hook. And when you get to the very end of the project, you can see I've completed mine here. You get this snow globe charm, and you also get, I got a patina and a couple of legendary and epic attachments. I don't know if you get exactly the same. You might get some different guns and attachments, but that's what I got when I did mine. And we're all going to get the snow globe when you finish it. So definitely worth doing. It's a fun event. It's very fun to play on the new Cold Snap mode as well. So I'd highly encourage you to give it a go. In total, across the project's 5 tiers, you're going to be required to submit a bunch of different items that I'll run through in detail in just a minute and tell you where to find them. But as part of that, you're going to need to find 260 candleberries to submit, which might sound a bit daunting, but by completing the tiers on the event, you're actually going to get rewarded with 180 candleberries along the way here. So you're only going to need to grind 80 candleberries in-game actually in order to finish this. So it's not really too bad to do. These 5 tiers of items you need to submit for the project, you don't have to farm these in the Cold Snap event apart from the candleberries, but I did for pretty much all of them anyway, just because then you can kind of multitask. If you're trying to find some of the other items, you can always grab some berries as you go past. Plus, it's just quite fun to play on the Cold Snap mode. It's really good, and it has slightly boosted loot with the use of hatch keys still enabled, as I mentioned a minute ago. So the different items required for the project. First up, for level 1, we need 1 empty wine bottle, 25 plastic parts, 5 durable cloth, and 20 candleberries. The empty wine bottle is a residential and commercial item. You're going to find these easily in residential areas such as on Dam. You can go in the Pale Apartments, Ruby Residence, and Patton House up here. You can also find a lot of residential stuff over on Buried City. Pretty much anywhere in this sort of southern, southeast, southwest side of the map, all of these different buildings here can contain loads of residential stuff. It's only a low tier item, should be very easy to find. Plastic parts you should just have. If you really have run out, you can buy them from Celeste for seeds over in the trader tab. Then for durable cloth, again, it's a very easy one to get. You can craft this in your refiner using fabric and just find it very easily in raids as well, particularly in medical areas. And then for your candleberries, you just find these on bushes dotted around all of the maps when you're in the cold snap game mode. What I'd recommend doing is pulling up one of the interactive maps. I'll put a link down in the description below. You can have a look at that and you can filter it so it shows you baskets and it shows you candleberries. The candleberries are on these bushes with red berries on them. They're pretty easy to spot. You go up to them, farm them, takes a few seconds like when you're doing Great Mullen, and you'll get 1 or 2 candleberries per bush. These stack up to 10, so you can put them in your safe box. And then on the Cold Snap event modes, you can also find baskets like during the Lush Bloom events. I don't think the baskets spawn quite as often as during the actual Lush Bloom event, and they don't seem to contain as much stuff unless they've just nerfed them generally. Previously in the old Lush Blooms, you could find 6 or 7 different seeds and fruits and there'd be loads of it. Whereas during Cold Snap, I generally have found 1 other fruit or seed and then some candleberries as well. So I think they have been adjusted slightly for this event. These interactive maps show potential spawns for these things. It doesn't mean they're guaranteed. The bushes are fairly commonly in the same places, but the baskets are very random between the places they can spawn. So it wouldn't be surprising if you checked 5 or 6 marked locations on one of these maps of baskets and didn't really find any. And I found it was much more time efficient for me, really, just by going to sort of more bush dense areas and just keeping my eye out for baskets. But if you do manage to find baskets, they can give you quite a few at once. You might be restricted on what map you can grind these on depending on what time of day you can play, but I found them quite easily on Spaceport. You can find them all around the edge of the map and some on the interior, but particularly in this northeast area. If I just show you the map here, over in this area here, near the communications tower and between the warehouse, this whole area here, I managed to find quite a lot. I think I managed to grind probably about 20 to 30 just in this area a couple of times. I had 2 runs on Spaceport where I extracted with about 30 berries at once. That area is pretty good for them, even all the way up in the corner here. Just obviously be careful of the cold. You have to run inside structures to warm up every now and again. You can do that in very small raider shacks and stuff, so just find a little shack you can run into and warm up, and make sure you're carrying some extra bandages so that you can heal up if you do take some cold damage. And also make sure you bring some of the adrenaline stims so you can get some stamina back to keep moving quickly and reduce risk of that cold damage as well. You can do these candleberries on any of the maps though. Check out the interactive maps. Most of them just run around the edge of the map and you're going to see these bushes and you can grab a few. On Dam, you can find a lot of them in the swamp area, which is a bit more central. But like I said, they're relatively easy to find, especially when you use one of these maps and just check out where you can find a particularly dense area to go around and check. So for level 2 on the project, you need 3 candle holders, 3 light bulbs, 1 industrial battery, and 50 more candleberries. We've covered those. Candle holders are residential, very easy to find in the previously mentioned residential areas, particularly Buried City and the houses on Dam. For light bulbs, I tend to find most of mine when I'm playing on Bluegate. If you go on Bluegate and then go into the big underground area, the maintenance wing, this contains a lot of electrical stuff down there. Don't worry about looting the cars, but you'll find them in lots of other containers down there. You can also find them in Bluegate up at Pilgrim's Peak. This contains a lot of electrical stuff as well. So 2 places you're going to be able to find a lot of light bulbs. For the industrial battery, you can find those in Bluegate in that underground area, but a much easier place to find them, I would say, is to go to Dam Battlegrounds and then the hydroponic dome complex and go in the larger domes here. And I found loads of them in here. I found 3 on 1 run when I went to check them out and find some the other day. So that's where I'd go, hydroponic dome for your batteries. And once you've got your candleberries, that's going to be level 2 finished. For level 3, we need 5 snap blast grenades, 10 duct tape, 1 film reel, and 60 more candleberries. For the snap blast grenades, you can craft or buy these. If we go to my explosive station, We can craft these for a cost of 2 crude explosives and 1 magnet each, so very cheap to craft. And you can also buy 3 of these per day from Apollo. If we go here, you can buy 3 of these for 2,400 each, so very easy to get. For the duct tape, we can buy 10 of those from Celeste for 60 seeds if you need that, and they're also very, very easy to find. The film reel is a residential item and an old world item. I found mine in Buried City, going through the residential buildings there. Again, Buried City residential areas or the residential buildings on Dam are going to sort you out, and you're going to find that. It's only a blue item, so fairly common. Just make sure you got a safe box so you can chuck it in there if you do find it. And you're going to be looking for drawers, kitchen cupboards, that kind of thing to loot. You're not going to find it in breaches, really. Just drawers and cupboards and shelves that you're trying to look for when you're trying to find these residential items. You can also sometimes find them in random other areas if there's some lockers. These red lockers you often see around can be really good. You can get them in all sorts of places like the hospital and Buried City, and dotted all around on Dam battlegrounds as well. So keep an eye out for red lockers. They can often give you some trinkets, and you're going to find some of that stuff there potentially as well. That's tier 3 done. For tier 4, we're going to need 2 coffee pots, 10 fireball burners, 2 water filters, and 60 candleberries. The water filters we can find in the same place as the industrial batteries in the hydroponic dome complex. We're going to find them dotted around there. They're pretty common. The coffee pots are residential again. So same as before, all the standard residential places, red lockers, residences, apartments, and Buried City. And then the fireball burners, this is just the items that are dropped by the fireballs, the little rolling balls that try and set you on fire. You can find those all over the place. They're pretty much inside almost any building on any of the maps. You can find them in the train station tunnels on Buried City. You can find them absolutely everywhere on Stella Montis, or inside some of the main buildings on Dam or underground on Blue Gate as well. They do also respawn quite quickly, so even if you spawn in late and go to an area where a player has been there before and killed some of them earlier on in the game, you'll often find that they've respawned just a few minutes later. So don't worry about going somewhere that's been looted already. If it was a little while ago, you might still be able to find some of them and kill them and get those burners. For the final tier of your project, you're going to need to get 7 mushrooms, 2 frying pans, 2 music albums, and 70 candleberries. The music album and the frying pan are again residential items, so exactly the same as before. Apartments, houses, red lockers, Buried City, all of that stuff. You're going to find those pretty easily. And then the mushrooms, some people might find a bit tricky. You can find them in the Lush Blooms baskets on the Cold Snap event, but as I said earlier, they're not dropping as much fruit as they previously were. What I found to be the easiest way to get mushrooms was to go onto Spaceport and then go to the mushroom tree. It's kind of near this hatch here. You can see Trench Hatch East. We go into this big trench and you run all the way along to its eastern edge. There's loads of great mullein along the bottom here, and then right at the end there's a tree that has a bunch of mushrooms you can harvest off it. I did that once and that gave me 10 mushrooms from this one tree, so that was my 7 done in one game. You can just run straight up there. If someone's already done it, go and exfil and then come back in and just try it again. But I managed to do that first time. You can also find mushrooms in Dam if you go in and you go around and check out the swamp. Just look for any fallen tree. You can often see them on the sides of fallen trees and harvest them there. And you do find them on pipes inside some of the buildings as well. But personally, I found them very quickly on Spaceport. That was probably the easiest way you're going to be able to get these. So that's the mushrooms, frying pan, and an album. And once you've got your candleberries finished, you'll be able to submit. And that's going to finish off this project. That's going to be done. And as I mentioned earlier, you're then going to be rewarded with the snow globe charm and then some gun and attachments you can use as well. So that's everything for today. Hopefully that helped some of you get this event finished. Drop a like and a sub if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to check out some of my other Arc Raiders guides on YouTube covering all sorts of topics. I've got guides on how to rapidly get all of your workbenches and scrappy maxed out, so if you're going to do the wipe and you need a bit of a reminder on that, make sure you go and check those out. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Ben, and I'll see you next time.